Welcome to Intuitive Connection, where spirituality and psychology meet to help you be your best and brightest self. I'm your host, Victoria Shaw, and in each episode, I'll help you to awaken your own inner wisdom, step into your power, and live a more divinely inspired life. You're here to let your inner light shine. Are you ready? Let's do this. Hello and welcome to Intuitive Connection. Today I want to share a little bit about something I was thinking about on my walk today. And, many of you who follow the podcast know that I follow this band called the Avett Brothers, and that I'm a big fan of the group. And that, I often use my magical law of attraction powers that we all have, because as I've talked about before, we are all magnificent manifestors to the extent that you are creating your life whether you like it or not. It's just how life flows. But anyway, I've often had really wonderful experiences with the band, like finding tickets to shows that I really wanted. Let's see what else. Well, that's really the biggest one. Getting a set list, which is a very big deal among certain band followers, at least, right? Where they send you the little list that they have on the stage that says what songs they're going to play. I just got my first set list last month. So that was a very exciting thing. But one of the things, at least in the Avett community, and this may not be true about other band following type groups, but the Avett Brothers have been around a while, and they have a really deep catalog, and they're really good live performers. So rather than just playing the same set over and over again each year when they tour, they really do go through their whole catalog, and you can see them multiple times in one year and hear very different songs, which is one of the reasons I think that, the band has so many people that follow them and see them multiple times every year. So there's a thing, right, in the community that people have. It's called a chase song. And I don't know if you follow another band and this is a thing for you too, that's cool. But I only know it, in my little Avett speak. But there's a chase song, right? And your chase song is the song that you really, really want them to play. Right? And usually the chase song is something they don't play very often, maybe an older song or just one that doesn't get a lot of play, but, that is a special one. And, so you're chasing that song. And people will sometimes see, because Avett Brothers fans are a little bit insane about how many shows they will see. I will hear people saying things like, yeah, it took me 50 shows to get that song. True thing. And I was thinking about that because yours truly also has a chase song. And my chase song is called, in case you want to look it up, The Weight of Lies. And they usually play it nowadays about twice a year. So, odds are not that great if, I go to one or two, or this year I went to 4 shows, right? 4 shows, and they play way more than 4 shows a year. So the odds of getting The Weight of Lies, unfortunately for me, are not super high. But, it may or may not be on my wish list, on my vision board, on my hiring the heavens list, on whatever, yours truly is doing to try to manifest. And again, if you've listened to me enough, trying to manifest is actually not the way to go, because when we try or push or force something, right, we are actually putting up resistance to it coming into being. And that's what this is really about, this episode. As much as I could talk about the Avett Brothers and probably have a whole podcast on them, actually I probably couldn't, but definitely an episode, using them today as an example around that idea of chasing our goal, and how sometimes when we chase, it actually puts a wedge between that which we want and that which we are, trying to experience. And that may or may not be the deal with my chase song. I've been chasing it now for quite a few years, and I'm about 21 shows into my Avett adventure. So, so far, no Weight of Lies. And I actually remember my very first show, I had just fallen in love with that particular song, and not knowing anything about the band, I was sure they would play it, and they didn't. But what I was thinking today on my walk was I was hearing the most beautiful song. Another song that I happen to know is rarely played, and other people have mentioned is their quote unquote chase song. And that song came up on my playlist when I was on my walk, and I was thinking about what a beautiful song it was. I was thinking about when they played it, I was thinking, well, this is the chase song I never knew I had, because I did hear it live and it was extraordinary. And it was a magical moment. And it wasn't anything that I wished for, but it was something that when I got it, I was just so pleased and so tickled. And it was an amazing thing. And that's actually happened a lot of times with songs that, I've discovered when I hear them live, mind blown, even though I wasn't particularly wishing for them. And so I was thinking about all the times that happens for us in our lives, right? That you might be fixated on one particular thing happening and, needing one thing to happen for your joy, right? And this is not my mindset, but it could be like, I'm going to go to this 3-night run of shows. And, if I don't get The Weight of Lies, if they don't play that song, man, the whole thing would not be worthwhile. And I don't think anyone ever says that about the Avett Brothers, because they're always great no matter what they play. But, sometimes we get like that. Sometimes we fixate on a particular goal. And when we fixate too hard on that goal, not only do we put a wedge sometimes between ourselves and our present state and the realization of that thing coming to pass, but also we cut ourselves out for a lot of potential joy that wants to stream our way in the meantime. And we also shut down the possibility for life to give us songs and other opportunities and other experiences that are just even more amazing or as amazing or surprising. And so that's what I was thinking when I was listening to. The song is 10,000 Words. And if you are really curious, you can look that one up too. And I was listening to 10,000 Words and thinking, as much as I love The Weight of Lies and as much as I'd like to get that song someday, think about all the experiences that I've had, right, when I was chasing during that chase. And there's another song of the Avett Brothers, and since this is like the Avett Brothers episode today, it's called Kick Drum Heart, and that one they play a lot. But there's a line in that song, it's not the chase that I love, it's me following you. And I think the chase itself isn't the point. That's the thing that keeps us going. That's the thing that keeps us in there. That's the thing that keeps us motivated to go do concert after concert after concert. And again, I would be very surprised if there's an Avett fan anywhere who says that the only reason they go to concerts is to hear a particular song played because, we all just love them. We love everything that they play. We love the experience of going to the shows. But sometimes we do that in life where we are chasing something, and the chasing of that something will bring us to places that we didn't even know were possible. And sometimes too, you never get the thing that you are chasing. And that's okay too, because it wasn't the thing that you were chasing that you really needed or wanted in the first place. And I do hope that I will get The Weight of Lies. So anyway, I guess that part of the point of this little story is to understand and to recognize that while it's perfectly fine to desire things, and it's perfectly beautiful to have goals and to have areas, things that we're chasing or at least things that we are wanting and streaming our energy towards, and perhaps even, organizing our lives sometimes towards that possibility, that potentiality. It's also really important that we know how and when to release that goal. And know too that, the goal itself, the endpoint itself, the dream itself is no guarantee of our continued happiness, or is it even really the point in life? It can just be a motivating factor. And I'm thinking, as I say this, and I'm hoping that the guys are going to chime in at some point, but you may all just, love as much as I do hearing about the Avett Brothers. I feel too, like with that song, with all of the amazing things that I have manifested, right, in my musical life, including, front row seats to sold out shows and travel packages and set lists and a guitar pick and all sorts of other magical things and magical moments. And meeting the band. Oh yeah, I did that too. All of these things are magical and wonderful, right? But I still haven't heard Weight of Lies. I mean, come on, man. I even got to talk to the fiddler one time and asked her to play it, and I still didn't get it. And she was taking requests. But anyway, it's all good. It's all good. But it just goes to show us a couple of things. One, the guides say, for me, with the Weight of Lies, it is not a burning desire to hear it played again. I enjoy the chase. I enjoy the going. I enjoy the adventure. I enjoy maybe it's a come in tonight. It keeps me going. It keeps me wanting to go. I would go to the shows either way, I promise you. But, the excitement somehow of, will I get my song tonight? It's exciting. It's exciting. And y'all have goals like that? Things that you're like, they motivate you. You wonder, is today the day? Am I going to get it? Is it going to happen? There's a playfulness to it. There's a joy to it. On the other hand, for me, it's become a thing. It's become a thing. Like, I really want them to play this song, and I know they will eventually. And it is a very rare song that they don't usually play. And a lot of fans who've been seeing a lot more shows than I have are still waiting for this one, right? But sometimes when we try too hard, push too hard, make something too big of a deal, we shut down the possibility of it happening, or at least we slow it down. I wouldn't say we shut it down necessarily, but we put up some resistance. So sometimes the more you want something and the more you push towards something and the more attached you are, that's the most important part, to getting something or feeling like, wow, I'm not doing this manifesting thing right if I don't get it, right? That's another one. The more you may push that something away, because when we put up the energy of, I really want this to happen. Oh gosh, why won't it happen? It never happens. It needs to happen, right? What we're telling the universe is it ain't going to happen, right? Or I'm not ready for it to happen, or I'm waiting for it to happen. And all of those messages are not synonymous with, hey, I can imagine easily the Avett Brothers playing The Weight of Lies, say, at my next show, which, why not say, will be in San Diego in the summer of 2023. Why not? And maybe it'll be a 3-night run in San Diego. Very unlikely. My brain can't stretch there. They don't have a good following here in California. So guys, if you are listening to California and you've never heard of the Avett Brothers, take a listen. Yours truly thinks they're the bomb. But there's another point here, and I think this is even the bigger one. And the guides say, look, if Victoria got The Weight of Lies at a show, okay, and I will eventually, it's not an if, it's a when, I'll be happy, I'll be excited, I'll be satisfied, right? Because that's how goals work. You achieve them, you accomplish them, you enjoy them, and then you're looking for something more. You're often looking for something more. There is not any outcome that is the end all and be all in life. And that's why the chase song is really important, right? Because it gives you a focus. It gives you something to get excited about. It gets you something to be excited about when it happens, right? And then you let it go and you let the next thing come to you. You let the next thing come to you. And you remember not to focus so much on that goal, because goals and wishes and desires, they're beautiful things because they orient us towards that which we want. They help us to grow. They help us to thrive. They help us to, I don't even know if I'm getting it right. They say go ahead. They help us to expand. I love that, actually. Right? They help us with all of those things. But the realization of a goal in and of itself, it's fun, it's good, it's wonderful, right? But it's not the end all and be all of life. I will not be satisfied for all of eternity when I hear the Avett Brothers play The Weight of Lies. I'll probably be really super excited. I'll probably go, I finally got my chase song, and post it all over social media. Hopefully there won't be any annoying talkers that I've attracted in the audience to distract me from the wonder of hearing my song for the first time, right? But then after that, I'm going to move on to something else. That chase song will be replaced, maybe by another song or maybe by another experience altogether, right? And so goals can be these organizing factors in our lives, right? But they're just pointers. They're just pointing us in the direction. They're just little landmarks along the way in our journey. And please, by all means, celebrate them all. Celebrate every single one, but also realize that there's going to be more. The guides are giving me the analogy of a hike, and we're kind of going there anyway, right? So say I've always wanted to hike a particular peak. That could be my goal. Or maybe, better yet, I've always wanted to see a bald eagle in the wild. Oh, I love this example even more. And so I'm going to this particular place, which I was just thinking about doing that too, right? In order to see that bald eagle. I have seen bald eagles in the wild, but I'd like to see more. That's the truth. It's like, you can't really see a bald eagle enough, can you? They're magical. So anyway, it's my goal, right, to go on a hike and see a bald eagle. And I may hike a particular place where I know the bald eagle is likely to be found. And I might even, feel into what it will be like to see that bald eagle. If I go on the hike with the sole purpose of seeing that bald eagle, and I judge my happiness based on whether or not I see a bald eagle somewhere during that hike, I'm doing myself and my life a great disservice, right? Why? Well, first and foremost, hiking is fun. And if that bald eagle gets me out to do a hike, if it gets me motivated, if it gets me to try a new place or do a new thing, by all means, that's phenomenal. Two, sometimes you get what you wish for and sometimes you don't. If you are hung up always on the end product of the journey, of the chase, a lot of times you're going to be disappointed. Occasionally you're going to be happy, but point three, that happiness it's not going to last. It's not going to last. Now you enjoy it when it's there, but again, the mind that wants to chase will always find something new to replace, right? Something new to chase. You'll always be chasing. It's part of life. And so you have to remember that, you'll get it, you won't get it, but it's the chase that you love. It's the chase. Right? It's the me following you. It's not necessarily the getting it at the end. Got it? And then the other thing, and this is, the most important thing, and this is the thing that inspired this whole episode, is that sometimes you go on that hike, right? And you don't see a bald eagle at all, but you see a sunset, or you see a rainbow, or you just have an amazing revelation because you're out in that fresh air and you're breathing, the beautiful, fresh air again, and smelling the chaparral and the sage. And I don't know if chaparral actually has a smell, but sage does. And, you're hearing the crunch of the gravel under your feet. And, maybe you see a coyote, or maybe you see a bunch of little lizards, or maybe you just have a moment where you just know all is well in the world, right? And so in the context of that amazing and magical experience, was seeing that bald eagle even really that important? Right? When I go to an Avett Brothers show and I love the heck out of it, is hearing the weight of lies or not the whole point? No, not at all. Plus, the guides are reminding me that, and I know this, so it's coming from multiple sources at once, right? The more we surrender, the more we let go, the more we let our goals be loose with open hands, the more we, rather than grasping ones, the more we recognize, we don't even always know what the end point is that's going to bring us the most joy. That's up for our higher selves to figure out for us. And if we allow that, if we flow with that, if we have our desires and we play with our desires and we play with our life and we enjoy all the places and landmarks and things that we see on the way, but we don't get attached to them, that is when life truly becomes magical, amazing, joyous. And that too is where we can co-create with our highest selves to live a fulfilling, inspiring life of our dreams. And if you get weight of lies on the way, that's really cool too. Or whatever your equivalent to that wish of mine is. All right, that's actually all I got for today. And yeah, you know that there's going to be something with that song coming up in the socials this week. So follow us on Instagram or Facebook. On Instagram, it's at Victoria Shaw Intuitive. On Facebook, it's Victoria Shaw Intuitive Counseling. And of course, we have the Facebook group, which is Intuitive Connection Community. So you can find me in all of those places. And you can also find me here every week on the Intuitive Connection podcast. Or you can find me in an Avett Brothers concert too. You never know. Usually somewhere near the front, if I can possibly swing it, and I usually can. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in, and namaste. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope that you found joy, strength, inspiration, and clarity from today's episode. If you'd like to learn more and connect with an amazing group of like-minded souls, please join us over on Facebook in the Intuitive Connection Community Facebook group, where we explore these topics in deeper detail, have additional live teachings, and host Facebook Lives with our amazing guests. I hope to see you there. And of course, if you want to learn more about me or the work that I do, please check out my webpage, victoriashawintuitive.com. Thank you so much again, and namaste.